Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Deleted, recovered PPP 1842. I, 22 female, am thinking about cutting my brother, 31 male, sister-in-law, 27 female, and niece, 1.5 female, out of my life. Hi everyone, thanks for reading. So basically, this has been somewhat of an ongoing situation in my life. Some background. My brother and his wife met about 8 years ago and got married 4 years ago. Then later they had their first child, my niece. Let's call my brother Jack and my sister-in-law Lindsay. Also, my brother is my half-brother. We share the same mom, but different fathers. Before Jack and Lindsay met, Jack was engaged to this super nice girl named Anna. Everyone in my family loved Anna. She had a really good career path, finished her 4 years, was going on to medical school, was good with money, helped my brother get a better job, helped him get into college late, etc. His father had passed away when he was 16 and she really helped him through that as well. They had been together for about 5 years when Jack proposed, and right after they got engaged, it had come out that Jack had cheated on her about a year prior, so she ended things. I was pretty upset about this, as was the rest of my family. Anna had basically become a part of the family. She was like a sister to me. She was there for advice, taught me how to play piano, would come over and help cook with my mom, and would help with my dad. He's disabled. After Jack and Anna broke up, things started going downhill from there. Jack got fired from his job. He caused a lot of damage by not following procedure, got put on academic probation, and was kicked out of college. This is all within 1 and 2 months. Then, all of a sudden, Jack brings home this new girl, Lindsay. I came home from school one day and see Lindsay at our house, so I introduce myself, yet she just awkwardly laughs and doesn't say anything. I thought it was a little weird, but overall not a big deal. I'm kind of shy myself, so I just thought the same thing about her. Over the next couple of years, Jack was still living at home, so I saw Lindsay pretty frequently. I would usually try and ask about college, her job, travel, etc. Whole things that she had expressed interest in, thinking that maybe we could talk. Usually, I would get an awkward laugh accompanied by really short answers. After about 2 years of this, I started to give up, thinking we would just never be very close with each other. During this time, other things happened though as well. First, Lindsay has anxiety, depression, and abandonment issues. This is obviously not her fault, but she would go off of her medication and go absolutely insane at our house. She stayed with us one weekend and my brother had to work one of the days, just a short 4-hour shift, so he was gone from around 7:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Lindsay knew this before she came down, but seemed alright with the situation. About an hour before Jack finished work, Lindsay starts calling him non-stop, like 15 or 20 times on his cell phone, which he can't have on him at work. So then she starts calling his work phone non-stop, which makes his boss angry with him. Finally, she gets a hold of him and starts screaming that if he didn't come home right that instant, she was breaking up with him. My mom tried to talk to her after and while this happened, asking if she needed something, if she could help with something, etc. Lindsay freaked out on her, started screaming, broke some picture frames and a glass shelf, got in her car and tore out of our driveway. We later found out she had stopped taking her medication and that she also has bipolar disorder. After that all happened, we still tried to get along with her, include her in things, but she went off her medication several other times and had meltdowns at our house. We were all just starting to get stressed out about her visiting. Usually 50% of the visits ended like the example I gave above. Eventually, my parents say my brother needs to move out. He was 24, and if he was going to bring someone into their house, they needed to behave better. So he moved out about half an hour away to a bigger town, and she had almost finished her 2-year degree. So she decided it would be a good time to move in with him when she was done with school. My brother lived alone for about 4 or 5 months, and during that time, it was like he was his old self again when I would go and visit him. He had a nice, clean apartment. We saw each other 2 to 3 times per month and things were great. I was happy that he seemed happier. After she moved in with him, things got bad. It turns out she also has some issues with hoarding, so it is somewhat a constant battle keeping up with it. My brother and I grew up in a house that was never super clean, as in it looked lived in, but it was never dirty either. It was more like someone threw a blanket on the floor or didn't put away a board game type of mess, never a dirty mess. The first time I visited their apartment, I was disgusted. They had been living there for around 3 to 4 months and you could tell the kitchen and the bathroom had never been cleaned. The carpet had never been vacuumed. It looked like she hadn't cleaned her cat's litter box in 2 to 3 weeks. It was absolutely horrible. Also, the piles of trash and boxes. Lindsay blamed it on the stress of the move, but like, come on, all she brought with her when she moved was her clothes and some photos. My brother had all the furniture and she left all her stuff at her parents' house. I stopped visiting them after that. Anyways, now let's flash forward to the current situation. I moved to the same town Jack and Lindsay live in for school. We live roughly 10 minutes from each other. It's been like this for over 4 years. They've not once invited me or my parents over to visit or contacted us to do anything unless they want money or need something. Lindsay took out $100,000 in student loans for a very specific career path, which is not prevalent in our area. Therefore, she makes $12 an hour and she only works 30 hours per week. Ever since my brother got kicked out of school and fired, he had been working at Walmart, making around $12.50 an hour, and he also works 30 hours per week. They do this so that they always have someone home to watch the baby. I am currently still in college, but I was able to land a job in my field before I graduated, and I make more than both of them combined. My boyfriend is 26 and he does as well. Therefore, we live in a nice house that he purchased. We both drive decent vehicles and we both are good at saving our money and living below our means. Now let's flash forward to this past Christmas. Lindsay and Jack do not show up. Lindsay does not like our family, so for the past 8 years they have never shown up to any family event. Jack will swing by the day after for about 20 minutes to ask for money and pick up their presents. My mom has met her granddaughter 5 times in 1.5 years. She has been allowed to hold her once. Lindsay does not like my mom. Anyway, Lindsay texted me saying that she wants to exchange gifts soon, so maybe my boyfriend and I could take them out to dinner, which always means we have to foot the whole bill. I say sure, maybe sometime soon. My boyfriend and I are both busy with work, but we'll find some time next week or so. Lindsay then calls me, says I was rude for not picking a day for dinner right then and there. I ignore it because I think she's being ridiculous. She then goes on to say that I should give her my car because they need an SUV. They drive 2 older cars her parents bought them for the winter since she has a baby and I'm child free. I say no way, I saved for my car for 3 years and I'm not giving it to them for no reason. She starts screaming that I'm a spoiled bitch and hangs up on me. I'm done, I can't deal with it anymore. They're both completely psychotic. Lindsay is obsessed with Jack's ex. She looks her up on Facebook all the time, tells everyone she's fat, ugly, etc. Which I always find a little funny because Lindsay is unhealthy out of shape, whereas Anna isn't fit but not unhealthy. And my brother does nothing about the situation. I thought they would get divorced by now, but no. Also, and just cause I need to rant about this, she planned her wedding for the day I graduated high school and told me I couldn't go to my graduation ceremony unless my dad paid for their whole wedding and then they would move it to the next weekend. So I just got to miss out on all of my friends' graduations parties instead of the ceremony. Gee, thanks. The only reason I'm struggling is because of my niece. It's not really fair to her because she's the innocent one in all of this, but I can't deal with those people anymore. What do I do? Well, OP, you've just reached your limit point. There's just so much one person can take. I mean, sure, it's understandable that she's definitely got issues and this is how they come out, but she isn't doing anything to fix them apparently. She's constantly getting off her meds and of course that causes issues. And no, you shouldn't have to stand for it. You shouldn't have to stand for being treated like that, getting screamed at, being called a spoiled bitch for not wanting to give somebody your car. What the hell? But I definitely understand your dilemma because you are right. It's not fair to your niece because she's absolutely innocent that your brother is an idiot. So OP, I think you have 3 different choices. One is to not change the status quo. The other one is you go no contact with all of them and you cut them out of your life, and that way you're stress free. And the third one is maybe you find a way to remove that child from that environment. It doesn't sound like a healthy or safe environment for a child to grow up in. I mean, it's only one step from verbal abuse to physical abuse, and if she screams at anybody when she gets upset when she's off her meds, then that baby is definitely not in a safe environment. In short, OP, what I would say is protect the child. And what do you guys think, or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's take a look at the community comments to see what kind of advice they gave OP. Cambria90 says, I don't blame you. I think everyone has this idea in their minds that they ought to get along with everyone in their family because they're just that, family. But that shouldn't be the case. If anyone, even family, presence in your life is toxic, it is creating unnecessary stress, being manipulative, abusive, using someone, creating drama or arguments, etc., then that's a fair reason to cut them out. Not cutting them out just sends a message that it's all good. You can keep treating me and everyone else this way. It's fine. And it's obviously not. You can keep trying to maintain this, but by the sounds of it, she's gonna get to a point where she's cutting you out and thinks you're just the worst. So it won't matter how much you're trying to consider your niece or brother at this point. Salani says, you'll be doing that child a favor if you call CPS and describe the way their home is. Please trust me on this. I grew up with a mentally ill hoarder mother and a father who did his best to ignore it all and be a workaholic. I wonder to this day, had CPS gotten involved, would he have divorced her? Would I have had a better life? Would I have needed way less therapy and have far less severe mental health problems to cope with? It's impossible to know, but getting CPS involved could really help the situation. As for not seeing Jack or Lindsay anymore, you have every right to cut them out and never see them again. It could be worth it to tell Jack that you love him very much and that if he is ever ready to leave, you'll be there for him in a heartbeat, but that you simply cannot have a relationship with him now, given the way his wife treats you and the way he enables her. I'm really sorry you're in this situation and wish you and your family the best of luck. I think that as long as your parents enable Jack, buying them cars, giving them money, the situation is going to get worse and worse. Hopefully, you putting your foot down will help them put theirs down. But even if they don't, you should do it for your own mental health and peace. Fitzvilliga says, I do agree with everyone else that no contact is the way to go, but I wanted to warn you to expect escalation and likely dangerous behavior from Lindsay as a result, especially if you cut contact at the same time they start being investigated by CPS. Warn your security or HR if you don't have it at work in the likelihood of her coming by to stalk you. Don't delete text messages or voicemails. You'll need those for a restraining order. OP's edit. A few things have happened since this post, so I figured I'd provide a small update. 1. I called CPS after work today and spoke with someone. She seemed pretty concerned after I went into detail about their living conditions and Lindsay's mental health. When we were finishing up our conversation, she let it slip that they already had something on file. The way I look at it is that someone else had also made a complaint, not sure who though. I will be emailing screenshots of texts and copies of text and phone history to child services in the morning. 2. Lindsay texted me today. She wants my boyfriend and me to swing by their house Friday night so she can cook us dinner and have family time since they never get to see us. I said yes, I am quite interested as to what they're up to now. I also want to get pictures of the inside of their house so that child services can see how they really live. And 3, I want to thank everyone for all the advice and insight. I did read every single one of your comments. Thank you to everyone who has shown support in this situation. I really appreciate it. I will hopefully have an update for you all soon. Thank you so much. Okay, well OP got some pretty good advice and the wheels are in motion, so let's move on with the update to see how this story finishes. So basically, the first thing I did was take the advice that most of you gave me. I planned an anonymous call to CPS. I gave them as much information as I could. Mother is a hoarder, goes off her medication, etc. They basically said they appreciated my call and that they would add it to her file. When they said added to her file, I started questioning whether or not this was the first time CPS had been reported to. Of course, the person I spoke to couldn't confirm that, but I found that quite interesting. Anyways, my boyfriend and I stopped by their house over the weekend for brunch and to exchange gifts. To no surprise, the house was absolutely disgusting, but it looks like they had rearranged some of their stuff, garbage, so it was slightly more presentable than usual. Now, they moved a while back and actually live on the 3rd floor of a building where there are only stairs, no elevator. So I had an excuse to ask my brother to help me grab some things from the car. Lindsay was preoccupied with the baby and my poor boyfriend was left alone with her. Sorry. As we made our way out to the parking lot, we just made some small talk. I asked him how work was going, how the baby was, etc. Eventually, I asked him about how things were going with Lindsay. The answer I got was unfortunately what I expected. She was going through some tough times, struggling to take her medication, having a baby was just adding to the stress, and so on. I said I understood, but asked about how that was all affecting him. He said he's fine with it, that he's used to it by now, and maybe as the baby gets older, things will improve. I asked him if he really thought things would get better eventually. He said no. I asked him if he was happy right now, or if he's ever been really happy with the relationship. He said no. I asked him why he stays in a relationship that makes him unhappy. He said he didn't want their daughter to come from a home without 2 parents, and that he was afraid of what Lindsay might do if he ever said he wanted to separate. He said that the second item scared him the most. I asked him if he felt like she was abusive. He said that she is emotionally abusive to him sometimes, but never to their daughter, and never physically to either of them. By this point, we both realized we had been gone a lot longer than we should have been, so we started heading back inside. I told him that our family would always be there for him if he ever needed anything, and that we should try and schedule a lunch together soon. He agreed to that and said while he appreciated my support, he wasn't going to leave Lindsay. He didn't want to leave Lindsay. He loves her too much. We get back inside and I excuse myself to the bathroom to secretly take some pictures of the apartment when I hear Lindsay yelling. Lindsay is interrogating my brother about why we've been gone so long, what we were doing, etc. Now, I'm not really sure what she thought was going on, but basically I was already sick of being there at that point. We were gone maybe 20 minutes when it should have taken around 10. I started to rush things along, said we should exchange gifts, etc. Lindsay was of course mad that my boyfriend and I only got my niece gifts, and them a gift card to a grocery store. I returned all their actual presents. I didn't really care. Lindsay and Jack did not get my boyfriend anything. Awkward, but oh well, I guess, what was I expecting? Lindsay got me a paternity test set to see if I'm actually related to my father. Now, this whole paternity test thing is a joke in my family. I don't look like either one of my parents, so we joke about who my real father is, that I was switched at the hospital, etc. But there is absolutely no doubt my dad is my dad. We have the same fairly rare medical condition, along with several other things. It's basically just at first glance, I don't look like my mom or dad. Anyways, I thought she was trying to join in on the joke, so my boyfriend and I both laughed about it. Then she hits up with it. Well, your mom is a crazy floozy, so I figured you'd want to know the truth. Okay, so definitely not join in on the joke. I give my brother the test and told Lindsay that maybe he should be the one to use it. Quite mean, I know. And my boyfriend and I got our stuff and left without saying anything else. Lindsay texted me a couple of days ago calling me a bitch and saying that I can't take a joke. Like, in our family it's a joke. We can all laugh about it, but it's never been used in such a cruel way. I was honestly shocked when I opened it and she said that. The only reason why I feel bad about the paternity test thing is that I'm sure it hurt my brother a little to hear my response. And I'm sure Lindsay went on a tirade after I left as well. I don't feel too bad about it though. I haven't responded and I haven't heard from her since. So basically, that's our wonderful Christmas story. Anyways, we sung by my parents' house on the way home and told them what happened, as well as that I spoke with CPS. My dad said he's called CPS twice on them because of their disgusting lifestyle. My mom was quite upset by everything that's happened, but was supportive of our decision to leave. I was able to get pictures to the social worker on Tuesday. I had to email them due to my work schedule, so they have my name and email address. They said they were very helpful, but left it at that. I haven't heard anything about a visit so far. I don't even know if I would hear about it, but I'm really hoping that one happens soon. As for my brother, unfortunately my mom and my brother's dad, we have different fathers, split up when he was young. His dad ended up moving a few hours away, so he only got to see him one weekend per month, so I think that definitely affected him. His dad also passed away when he was a teenager, so I'm sure that's part of it too. I do hope that this is the push he needs to take a look at his life and seek help to get away from Lindsay. I think it would be better for my niece to have divorced parents than to let the situation spiral even further. I wish he could understand that. I will definitely always be there for my niece, and I will try and be there for my brother. The only thing I'm a little afraid of is that if and when CPS does get involved, it could hurt his chances at custody. Unfortunately though, even though he is in what seems to be an abusive relationship, he is allowing his child to grow up this way by staying. I think he would need some help before he could be at his best to be a parent anyways. It sounds bad, but I think he needs some therapy as well. I'm hoping that my brother will stay true to his word and meet up for lunch soon. Hopefully, we could talk more as well, but he'll have to take it at his own pace. And that's it. That's all OP ever wrote about this story and then deleted everything. So I'll just stay with the fact that OP has done everything in her power to help her niece and her brother get away from Lindsay. Like I said in my commentary in the beginning, the most important thing is to protect that child. And hopefully that is what happened. Now, I don't want to end the video here with this mood, so let's move on to another post and change it. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user DangerousWeb2497. Oh, so you do pick up after yourself and I'm just exaggerating? Let's give every man for himself a try then. Years ago, when I just moved in with my then boyfriend, now fiance, he was terrible at picking up after himself. He was a self-admitted mama's boy and went directly from his parents' house to our shared home. Barely 3 weeks in, I was fed up. So when I told him that I was tired of picking up after him and acting as his maid, he hit me with, "That's not true, we both clean up equally." After a bit of back and forth, he said, "Well, if you don't believe me, then let's split the house. You take care of your half and I take care of mine." I took that literally. Got painter's tape, divided every single room in half, including the kitchen counter, the inside of the fridge, the bathroom counter, everything. Also, he was cocky and suggested 2 months. I shortened it to 1. Not even a week in and his half looked like a pigsty and he had no more food because I stopped grocery shopping and cooking for him. The only exception I made was cleaning the toilet and shower because I was not about to use a filthy bathroom to make a point. He bought me flowers and chocolate, apologized for his behavior, and started learning how to be an adult. We are 8 years into this relationship and he is an amazing man. We are about to get married. Nicely done, OP. You malicious complied him into being a good partner. Thanks for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.